Hello and welcome to another episode of The Eater's Gem. If this is the first time we're crossing paths, hola, I'm Annette Day. I love all things women empowerment, women equipping, women educating. Welcome to the month of November. I love all months, but this month is my favorite. Why? Because it happens to be my birthday. But before we delve into all that juiciness, let us give a shout out to our production team in house, Blessed Dream Production and Eyes Have Not Seen. I will say this and I'll keep saying it. Without them, these episodes will not come to you. Because listen, your girl only knows how to talk. I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to set cameras. And so please, let's give them a shout out. Well, welcome to the month of November 2025. Listen, like I was just sharing, it's my favorite month of the year because it is my birthday. And I am super excited for this episode. For those of you that are OG, you're seeing this and you're like, wait a minute, what is going on? The set is different, the background is different. She's sitting down not in behind a desk or what's going on. Listen, I am super excited for this particular episode because I get to sit down and have a conversation with one of my favorite people. And maybe she doesn't even know that, but I look up to this woman so much. She is an auntie to me. She is a grandmother to me. She is an inspiration to me. She's a counselor to me. And this is why I love this woman so much. Before I really had a time to engage with her, I had this picture, and I don't know where I got it from, that at a certain age, particularly after retirement, and I used to tell my children this, please make sure you don't put me in a nursing home somewhere, right? Until one day, her and I were having lunch on her birthday. And on the way to meet her for lunch, it's like something shifted in my brain. That look at this woman. I believe it was like her 82nd birthday, something like that. And look at her. Why do you keep thinking that at a certain age you're going to be in a nursing home? And so without much saying, we're going to hear from her as well. But her name, I call her Pastor K, Miss K, and this is who she is. She is one of the pastors at Calvary Redemption Center. She's a woman that wears many hats. One of her things, the main job in the church is that she is the administrator, but she's also that she doesn't see this. She's also the mother of the senior pastor. Okay. She's the only one that can straighten him up. So, in terms of bio professionally, there's so many things about this woman. She's an author. She is a great grandmother. She's a woman in her eighth decade. For those that don't understand that, Google it up, you'll understand it. But I want to simplify it for you. She's a woman in her 80s. Welcome to the set, Pastor K. Panadero. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Pastor Annette. It's really an honor. I was surprised when you asked me, but then, I said yes right away.
And I'm so glad that you said yes to this. So, Pastor K, I know you're a woman that wears many hats, a woman that has children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. So, that's expounding on so many things because many people don't live to be a part of like four generations. Beyond the bio, who is Pastor K?
Well, I don't know. The bio basically speaks of who I am. But in that bio that I supplied you with, there's one thing that I didn't write down there, and that's being a mother. Um, it was just natural for me to be like a mother. But everybody talks about motherhood being difficult. Yes, it's difficult. But surprisingly, my first child, I mean, she was like perfect. Went to sleep when you put her down, didn't make any fuss. But then when it came to my second child, that's when things got kind of hard because, first of all, he had, well, he didn't go to sleep when he was supposed to go to sleep and cried all night long. And for being a new married couple, because we had my first child uh, year after I got married, then every year and a half I had a child. Okay, yeah, I have six. I had just six children. Come to that later. And the child kept on crying, crying, couldn't put him down. And we went to the doctor, we went to the hospital, the orthopedic. Nobody could find the problem. And then and then finally went to the family doctor. You don't bring your children to family doctor. You bring a child to, pediatrician. Right, right. So, but this was in the days, all days, in the 1960s. And the doctor right away said, "Your child has asthma." And oh my goodness. He said, "Yeah, I have my family is has a history of asthma, bad asthma, not just the little asthma thing. And my husband had it too. So naturally, my children had it. Four of my children have asthma, two have outgrown them. And I don't know if on my bio I played down that my oldest child that was one of the most difficult things. My oldest child died in a car accident here in Chicago on Lakeshore Drive. She was 21 years old, 21 years and 6 months to the day. And it was difficult for us. I was, yeah, your oldest child is difficult. But we got through it, and I think that's one of the things that made my children stronger is because early in life, they were able to cope with difficult situation. And it was difficult for them. But as I said in my bio, I didn't write much about my children, but I'm very proud of them. All of them, well, I got married in 1965, so my children now are in the 50s. The youngest is in his 40s. But I am just proud of them and their work ethics because all of them are professionals in their own field. And when they talk, when we're together, and I love it to see my children together, there's very, very seldom do they have arguing. If they argue, it's good arguing. They're just arguing a point. They don't argue like fighting, you know, which I just sit back and I just watch them, because it is, to me, it's like, wow. In my mind, I'm like, these are my children. It's such a blessing to have children who can uh, relate to each other. Sometimes you hear of families where children are always fighting, always argument, all just jealousy. I don't have that in my children. Neither do I have it in my grandchildren. They are what I call family.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
I love it. So beyond the bio, you are a mother of six.
Yes.
And so oftentimes
Grandmother
a grandmother
of eight.
of eight,
Yes.
and then a great grandmother
of one.
of one.
And I'm telling you, this one is so spoiled.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Now, you have lived through many decades.
Yes.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through your childhood and the different stages of those decades. And the reason why, again, that's the reason why I wanted you to come on, because in this era, in this generation, we don't get to have 80-year-olds or people in their 80s that are strong minded and are able to still be an inspiration to us. So, walk us through a little bit of your childhood and what do you think has propelled you to be the kind of woman that you are in this season?
Okay. When when I was young, really like a child, uh, in school, my and then from grade school to high school to college, my ambition really and my desire was to emulate my dad. My dad was my dad. wa- It was difficult because my dad was he was what some people would call a genius,
Mm.
and I just wanted to be like him, but it it was a hard pill to emulate. I tried my best, but it was not for want of trying, because there are people who are just geniuses, just like that,
Mm.
without studying, without. He was that,
Mm.
and that was not for me. That was not my portion. So I tried. I did the best I could. I was good in school. I'm not going to say I was top of the game, but I was excellent. But the thing is, even that, growing up, I was able to balance
Mm.
having fun and being serious in school and, in my jobs. And but you're talking about differences in generations. My generation was so different.
Mm.
In my generation, when I was a young kid, we lived in a neighborhood where, and Pastor always talks about this, where the children can play out in the street
Mm.
without fear of intruders coming in and, you know, snatching them out there. Parents took care of other people's parents, children. It was like one big family, and basically with different last names.
I
I
love it.
always
I
say that.
love it when I read that you
Yeah.
you said our community was like one big family with different last names, and
Yes,
that's beautiful.
it was beautiful because somebody across the street from where I live could look down from the window and say, "Stop what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Mm-hmm.
right."
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically why, I guess, I was shy and introvert when I was growing, especially in high school and grade school and high school. I was always this person who wanted to be with the crowd, but I was too shy because I didn't want to make a mistake and then I get yelled at, or, I was like that. I didn't want to be scolded, to be yelled at.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, I don't like confrontations. I shy away from confrontations. If there's something wrong, and whoever made the mistake, I try to correct them,
Mm-hmm.
and they get loud. And I'm like, okay, never mind, go. I'll do it myself. Kind of
And
thing.
do it herself. She definitely will.
So anyway, this we live in different times right now, where uh, it's the era now of my grandchildren. My children, although it wasn't as close knit, the neighborhood was not as close knit as it was when I was growing up.
Mm.
They still had that. We still had the community where they grew up in, where the neighbors. We knew everybody in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Down the street, they look at my children and say, "Okay, your child did this, your child did that."
Mm.
It was good because you know that you could leave your children by themselves without fear of being kidnapped or abused or whatever,
Right.
And that was even true here in the States,
Mm-hmm.
because most of my children, well, all of them, the oldest came here when I think she was 10 years old. So they were still young,
So your
my
children were
children
born
here.
in the Philippines, or most of
All
them.
except the last one, the
Okay.
youngest, was born here. So we lived down by in Chicago, and all my children and my nephews and nieces, they all went to the same school.
Mm.
So it was a nice thing, and but growing up, as I said, when I was in grade school and high school, I went to one school, and I'm going to say it's Saint Scholastica's College, which was run by German nuns, and they were so strict, and I think that shaped my future. Okay, because you get the strictness, but then you're also going in a path that is the correct path. You're not here and there, here and there. Like I really in the world today that we live in, there's all this, and I tell you this all the time, Pastor Nat. I don't like this TikTok and all this stuff, because some of them give too much freedom to the children,
Yeah.
and you tell the children, for me, it's my grandchildren because of the age thing. I tell them, do this. No, it's supposed to be this way. I say, where'd you hear that? And they say TikTok. And I'm like, the first time I heard that, I said, what is TikTok?
What is TikTok?
So anyway, I just let it be because, they have their parents and my children who are very intelligent. They know what is right and what is wrong. So I just let it be because it's not my place, I think, to raise their kids.
Yeah.
It's their place to raise their kids. I just look at them, and then if there's something totally wrong, then I step in and give, I don't even, I kind of like say, okay, is this the right thing that you're doing, and let them decide what is right and what is wrong, because they have their own lives.
Yeah.
My children are intelligent enough to know how to raise their own children.
Wow.
So that's it. But going back to my childhood, I'm sorry, I'm here and there.
That's okay, Pastor K.
But going back to my childhood, okay, well, not childhood, but college days, I graduated at a very young age from high school. I was barely 14. So I went to college, and this is not in my bio, by the way. I really, really wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But age-wise, I wasn't qualified. So I had to choose another profession, which it was natural for me to choose business administration. It's called business at that time. Because I'm good at math and I'm good in accounting. I'm good in numbers. That's my thing. But I went to college. I went to the University of the Philippines, which at that time was very difficult to qualify, even to try and get into the college. And then you take the entrance exam, which, my goodness, I think I never studied in all my life as much as I studied for that entrance exam, truly. And then I was accepted. And I think it was God's direction, unbeknownst to me, which led me to the group of men and women that I associated with in college. It was like I came from a strict upbringing in St. Scholastic and in high school, grade school and high school. And to go to university where there was no, how do you call this, strict person or entity that looks down on you and looks at your every move. It was like coming from prison to freedom. Yes, I was free. But thank God, because I don't know nowadays, but then when you go to college, you have to look for the right group to go out with, to hang out with. Because if you go with the wrong group, then you go wrong. And I thank God that I was able to associate myself with a group of men and women who were fun loving,
Mm.
but we were not renegades. I don't even know the term for it nowadays. We're doing the wrong things.
Mm.
We're just fun loving
Mm.
people.
Mm.
We had fun. I could tell you stories about my college days, but there's no time for that. But it was to me an eye opener. It's like saying, "Wow, this is life."
Mm.
And I tell you, we were fun loving, but every single one of us, there were 8 of us, we stayed together all 4 years of college.
Wow.
Not one of us had any failing grade. We
Mm.
all graduated above average. And some of us are here in the States, like I'm in the States, and some are mostly in New York. And just an example, one of my group, she has a company in New York. I think she's retired now though, because she's my age.
Mm.
Her her company, the stocks in her company went into the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
That's how we were.
Mm.
We were fun loving, but
Mm.
when we came down to serious stuff, we were serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Wow.
could tell you stories about
I
college.
love it. I love it. So, Pastor
But
K,
anyway,
there is so much. And again, when you've lived to be in like 8 decades, this is Pastor K's autobiography. And I was sharing with Pastor K earlier that I feel like this should be chronicled for her family going down. And Pastor K, there's something here that I read, and I was asking myself because I've always been very intrigued with the kind of person that you are, the discipline, the tenacity. But it's during your grade school when
mm,
you were talked about the German nuns,
yeah. Mm,
Benedictine nuns, and you said this: their discipline was very rigid with no excuse policy, which shaped not only my early years but was the foundation upon which my life was built. And you've shared about it. But then when I was reading this, I realized, and I want you to elaborate on it a little bit. I believe that it was that foundation that has brought me through a lot of hardcore roadblocks in my life. It never give up. Look for an escape route, no matter how small attitude that has brought me to where I am today. And
mm,
when I read that, I realized that that is so true. You talked about strictness with these nuns.
mm,
In my generation, we are talking about being too strict is not good. Let children have their own opinions. Parents
yes.
should be friends and not have that strictness. Looking back at your life, seeing that this has been the foundation and it's brought you here, tell us a little bit about, is there too much strictness and is there too much friendship and letting your child loose?
I let me put it this way. I really do not agree with how children are being brought up these days, because I brought up my children where I would just, well, yell and scream at them. But when it came down to being like, no, you're not going to do that, I didn't even have to say a word. I just stood there, looked at them.
Mm.
I remember one instance, my middle son was just around the kid, and he was acting up. And I got into the room, and I just stood there.
Mm.
And my other children were there, and they saw me come in. And he was still acting up, doing whatever foolishness he was doing. And they said, and they kept pushing. And then he saw me at the door. Boom, stop. Right there, he stopped what he was doing.
Mm.
And that's the discipline that was in those days in my era. And now it's like, I know, children sometimes overtalk
Mm.
their elders,
Mm.
and kind of like, if you're not really a parent who knows what you're doing, let's put it that way,
Mm.
you get you just say, okay, do whatever. And that's not a good thing. I think I think, well, this is just my opinion. All this stuff that's going on with drugs and stuff like that, and uh, children, well, youth, are going the wrong way, is because there's not enough discipline.
Mm.
I really, and again, this is just my opinion.
Mm.
I wish that the law were discipline, like spanking a child, has been stopped. And if you do it, they can call 911 and say that they're being abused by the parents. I think that's wrong because my children, they're all disciplined. I'm proud to say that. They grew up, yeah, they're rowdy. I mean, whose children are not, you know. But when it came to studying, when they came to doing the right thing, they knew what was right and what was wrong, and they did the right thing because from childhood they were disciplined that way. You do wrong, you get punished. There's no ifs and buts about it. Nowadays, where's the punishment? You try to punish your kid, they pick up that phone and call. So I think that's why we have a lot of this misbehavior, and it's more than just misbehavior in the youth. They do their own thing, and parents are scared to stop them because of repercussion from the law.
Right.
But this is not supposed to be handled by the law. It's supposed to be handled in home, in the family, in the home. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah.